What's going on, team? Now, big numbers are a big thing in the fitness and performance world, allowing men and women to demonstrate all of their hard work without saying a word, in the way that a big squat, bench, clean, and deadlift speak for themselves, right? But in addition to the big compound lifts like these, more technical movements have become equally or even more impressive to others, and even more importantly, empowering to ourselves. And few things draw as much attention and eyeballs in the gym as a well-executed, slick, powerful muscle-up. One of the reasons for this, they're hard to do. And one of the reasons for this is very few people build their pulling power properly. I know loads of guys that regularly smash out sets of 10 to 12 pull-ups, pretty much with ease, but then go straight into trying to do a muscle up straight off the bat without doing anything to try and bridge the gap. A lot of them inevitably struggle with this, but the great news for you is that is exactly what we're going to talk about now. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you are new here, my name is Jim Galvin, and on this channel, we cover all things training, nutrition, biohacking, and ancestral living to help people just like you cut through all the fluff of the fitness industry in the modern age and help you all work out what exactly it is that you need to do based on your individual biology to help you improve your performance, your health, and your physique. And today I want to share with you my 3 top tips to basically hack the way that you do pull-ups to properly develop your pull lever power that will make muscle ups a million times easier, helping you either get your first one or massively increase the number of muscle ups that you can do. So let's start then by asking a simple question. Why is it that some people can do 20 strict pull-ups but can't even do one single muscle up? Well, the answer, in my humble opinion, is this. In simple terms, they are not the same movement. Pull-ups, like most exercises we do in the gym, involve and require you to activate certain muscle groups at certain speeds and then decelerate, basically slow down towards the top end of the movement. We do this in pretty much everything, right? You think with a bench press, you slow down towards the top end of the movement, or you throw out your elbow. Squat, exactly the same, otherwise you jump up, hyperextend your knee, the bar would come off your back, etc. And did you know that even on a 1 rep max, the heaviest you've ever lifted on either a bench press or a squat, you are so much stronger at the top end of the movement that you actually slow down around about the last 25 to 30% of it. Obviously, there are exceptions in the training world. We do not do this with a clean as an example. We do not do this with certain explosive press-up variations, both of which you're seeing here. And consistent with the topic of this instructional, if we want to be better at muscle-ups, we should be doing it with our pull-ups either. And luckily, there are a few things that we can do with our pull-ups to develop this speed of contraction and other performance assets that we need. Namely, not slowing down as we approach the end range. So with that, in my experience, there are a couple of tiny little hacks that you can do with your pull-ups that will go a long way in attempting to bridge the gap between pull-ups and muscle-ups and help you get to your first muscle-up either a lot quicker or, again, if you can currently do them, massively increase the number of muscle-ups that you can do unbroken. These tweaks will just keep everything firing a little bit quicker to allow you to do more. All right, that's enough chit-chat. Let's get cracking. Variation 1. This should definitely be seen as step 1, especially if with your current performance level, you are able to do less than 10 strict pull-ups. And it is basically a powerful and impactful chest to bar. Instead of just getting your chin over the bar, you want to generate enough power that you bring your chest all the way up so that it makes contact with the bar or rig itself. It might get you a few funny looks if you're training in a slightly more conservative gym, but being able to touch your breastbone, your chest to the bar with a little bit more force and a little bit more impact is only ever going to help this. Again, the rig might be rattling a little bit when you do it, but it's 100% worth it and you'll be flying over the bar in no time. Basically, we want to do this for 2 reasons. Firstly, because we're required to generate more power to get ourselves up to that position. And secondly, in this movement, intuitively, we are naturally going to arch back very, very slightly, which is going to go a long way in helping us groove a correct movement pattern in the muscle up, because obviously it's not just linear. There is a bit of an arc. It's a little bit more angular. So the fact that we're not just taking our chin over the bar, the fact that we're bringing our chest up to the bar means you're going to pinch in the mid-back, the thoracic a little bit, bring the bottom rib up towards the ceiling, and that tiny little pinch in the mid-back, arching the spine and slightly changing the overall position of the pull is an amazing foundation to build when we accept the fact that muscle-ups obviously aren't linear, they are a little bit angular. But as I just alluded to, there is an extra component to this variation, and that is the speed. I don't just want you bringing your chest to the bar, I want you as much as you possibly can throwing your chest into it to make sure that we continue to accelerate all the way to the end of the movement, that we don't just slow down to give it a little bit of a tap. thump it through as much as you can. It surprisingly hurts less than you think. Again, it might be a bit unorthodox, but it is just the best way of developing the bloody speed that you need. A set of anywhere between 5 and 8 of these particular variation is an amazing way to develop the power that you need for muscle ups. And remember, power and strength are not the same thing. Strength is your ability to overcome resistance. Power is this too, but executed with speed. Yes, there's a massive overlap between the two, obviously, but we cannot take the speed aspect of power for granted. And when we need it specifically and deliberately for movements like this, we need to make sure that we train it specifically and deliberately as well. Makes sense, right? Told you. Right, on to variation 2, banded pull-ups. Notice that I didn't say weighted here. I deliberately said banded. What's the difference? I hear you cry. Well, if you basically put a 10 kilo dumbbell inside like a weighted dip or pull-up belt with a chain, it is 10 kilos worth of resistance at the bottom and it is 10 kilos worth of resistance at the top, right? Simple, it's physics. But bands are very different. You put a dumbbell or a kettlebell on the floor underneath you, strap the band to it, pull the band high around your waist, and when it's not particularly stretched, as you're at the bottom position, so in this pull-up position with your arms outstretched at the bottom, it might only be giving you 2, 3, 4 kilos worth of resistance at the bottom. Your elbows get to about 90 degrees and it's offering 10. But you get to that top position where your chin is over the bar, or even you're taking your chest to the bar in a banded pull-up, it might be offering 15 kilos. So it is an ascending amount, it is a changing, an increasing amount of resistance through the movement. And this increasing level of resistance through the course of the movement has one primary benefit. It basically teaches your brain and your body to not execute with the same amount of speed throughout. It teaches your body to continue to execute with more speed and basically accelerate through the course of the movement. This kind of gives exactly the same benefit, guys, as say banded deadlift would be before you did like a broad jump or a vertical jump, right? In exactly the same way, a banded pull-up is an amazing variation to add in if you want to improve your muscle up. If smashing out sets of 5 to 15 strict pull-ups is the only weapon in your arsenal, you may well progress with muscle ups, but your progression is going to be extremely painfully slow. It's hacks like this that just purely and plainly and simply speed up the journey. And surely that can only be a good thing. I will say this at this juncture, we can progress without doing stuff like this. It's just going to be slower going. So training smarter as well as harder with these variations, to me, it's just an absolute bloody no-brainer. And that leads us on to variation number 3, a clap pull-up. This is an amazing way for us to prove to ourselves that we do in fact have the power to actually take our hands off the bar. Speed is not an advantage with this exercise, it's an absolutely bloody necessity. You don't have adequate speed with this, it just physically won't work. That's why this is such an amazing variation. Now there are 2 different almost sub-variations within this. You can either simply, I say simply, it's really not that simple. Take your hands off the bar just a few inches. This is a little bit easier, this one, right, guys? Because it means you don't have to take your hands too far away from their original position. Or if you are feeling powerful and brave in equal measure, you can generate a little bit more force. Take your hands off the bar, bring them into the middle, and give yourself a hand to celebrate your newfound speed. Another absolute phenom of a pull-up progression that develops those massive amounts of speed and power needed to take your hands off the bar, and also gets your body used to handling a little bit more eccentric load as you then recatch the bar on the way down. Slowly does it if you are not used to this. The landing can feel a little bit horrible to start with when you're trying to develop your performance, your health and physique. What's a little bit of tendonitis between friends? 3 hacks to either your first or better muscle ups, done. Completed it, mate. But it's not all about training, is it? For athletes of all ages and abilities, we should spend a decent amount of time investigating things that can help us with our training, but also a certain amount of time should be allocated towards thinking about and learning about your recovery and things that help us recover quicker so we can get back to training harder, smarter, more frequently, and with more volume as quick as we possibly can. And recently I did a video on my 2 favorite drinks that basically help me improve my performance, my health, my physique, my cognition, my recovery, my immune system, my joint health, everything. That for some flipping reason, nobody seems to be drinking. I genuinely feel as though they are 2 of the best kept secrets in the fitness industry. If you did enjoy today's video, please click this link right here to watch that right now. It will partner with this one perfectly. Have a wicked day, guys, and as always, stay strong, stay healthy, stay awesome, and peace out for now.